Greetings, people of the internet! It is I, that Canadian fangirl, back again to talk about, well, kind of a continuation of last week. We talked about anti-war last week. Let's talk about the other side of the coin with more anti-war. Vinland Saga. The other anime that came out that had an anti-war sentiment, but takes it in a completely different direction from Attack on Titan. Oh man, Vinland Saga. What to say about something like this? There is nothing like watching Vinland Saga and realizing you're watching something that's truly unique. You open up with season 1 and you think, this is a historical Viking drama set in the North. And by North, I mean like the North, like Norway, Denmark, Vale, Northern England. Jets of emphasis. It's gonna look weird because this was gonna be like an audio podcast. And it's about war and Vikings going on, and Vikings and a lot of Viking fights, and you think the show is about Vikings. This is what the show is about. Then you get to season 2 and you realize Vinland Saga is way more than just a show preaching about what the North did, the Vikings did. You're Northmen! And honestly, that's why I think it's always really cool. It's like, no one ever talks about, Vikings, but Vikings, some of the coolest action scenes, take place north, in the Northern Sea, and the Vikings basically going out and pillaging shit. Shit, it's fine. Pillaging stuff, taking villages, taking women for pleasure. Note the air quotes. I guess an audio podcast. I don't have air quotes on that. But Vinland Saga is, man, it's so good. It is so good. Man, Wit Studio. I love Wit Studio. Wit Studio is like one of those studios that it's so good. And then they gave it up in season 2 for Mappa. It's like, with understandable, because Mappa season 2, man, it looks good. It's like, this is one of the better looking shows in Mappa. And I say that non-ironically because, well, Mappa always looks good, but considering what we know about Mappa right now, I'm not gonna touch that. I mean, it's Thorfinn, my old boy Thorfinn. He's like one of the best protagonists of all time, and I love watching Thorfinn. That's how who go from a little child warrior who basically throws himself in the war, purely for events to basically get back at the man who killed his father. He commits so many war crimes, grows up in that, environment, and then season 2 hits. Watching Thorfinn grow from Whaley start of season 2 to the end of season 2 with I have no enemies. Man, that line's still the line. I have no enemies. So good. I mean, sadly, we also know what else he doesn't have. I have no awards. No, I'm not still bit over the JJK awards. Oh, that stuff was so dumb. Oh, poor Thorfinn. And that's why we got robbed. So robbed. Because it's so good. It's honestly better than JJK. I said it. I don't take it back. I said it. I don't take it back. Is he going to set sail for Vinland? Is he going to start his own community? To basically escape the blood, the violence, slavery, everything that's going on in northern Europe, England. Definitely. I don't care. I love Thorfinn. I love Thorfinn so much. Honestly, Season 2 is basically, as people have said, it's Peakland Saga. Season 2 is so much better than Season 1, and Season 1 is already really good. Season 1 had to set the tone. Like, I think even the manga basically made that, well, he didn't want to have, apparently it wasn't in his draft, all the war that was taking place in Season 1, and he had been talked into including it because it's gonna create a stronger story in the long run, which I definitely agree with. It's like, no, you need to see Thorfinn's journey to where he got to Season 2. So you need a Season 1. But Season 2 is where the story gets really good. Not that Season 1 is bad, I actually really do like Season 1 because I love Ocelot's I love Ocelot's whole crew of, his Vikings. Thor is great. When they pick up Canute and his retainers and all that, like that's all good. Standard Viking or North, whatever you want to call them. They're Vikings. They're gonna go out and do Viking stuff. They're gonna engage in war. They're gonna get way too involved and pillage land because that's what it means. It means people have to be taken. People have to be taken as slaves. Women have to, and all that stuff. So, and it rings so much more true when you get to Season 2 and you realize, man, King Thorfinn on that phone, basically working for his master because he's now been sold as a slave, and having to basically, bond with old boy Aino. We all love Aino. As he learns, how to basically, look at the phone, like a good person, and he, brings himself up, and he comes to the realization that there's really no point for war because people are dying, and all this bad stuff is happening, and, anything in time, and him killing people leaves victims, and blood, and suffering, and it has continued because that's all these people know, and Valhalla is basically a shit show because of people suffering forever because of violence. So Thorfinn basically, coming to the realization that I have no enemies. I am not gonna raise my hand and basically, pacifism. I am now a pure pacifist. I am now a pure pacifist, and I'm gonna take. If someone hits me, I'm gonna take it. I am not gonna respond, and if I have to, and if war comes to my land, I run the other way because that is pacifism, and that is basically how to basically break the cycle of violence. And it's so, man, it's so good. It also looks so good. Again, Season 1 looks great. If this is Wit Studio basically doing what they do best. Season 2, again, I think it's some of Mappa's best animation. That's what they do to basically bring this phone to light. Gorgeous. The wheat and the grains and the buildings and the landscapes and just everything is just so interesting. Particularly good. I know. I wanted to talk about it particularly because Vinland Saga and our show from last week, Attack on Titan, are basically two sides of the same coin. They are both anti-war stories that arrive at the message of anti-war in two very different ways. While Vinland Saga is basically embraced pacifism and basically totally other tree don't engage in war. Attack on Titan is full on into basically the extremes of basically how far you can take it and why that's not good. Which makes Thorfinn and Aelin as protagonists basically similar yet dual opposites. Ideally, if Aelin would have, if Aelin would have been like taking Thorfinn's ideology of I have no enemy, then not engaged, it would have been a very different story. Likewise, if Thorfinn didn't come to his pacifism, it would have been really different. But they were both, interesting in two very different ways. One basically embraces pacifism, the other embraces the extremes of war, but both of you basically use to basically preach an anti-war message to show why we shouldn't go to war. And it's very interesting. Particularly because, Attack on Titan clearly ran along through that fourth season, but they both wrapped their final episodes around the same time. Vinland Saga Season 2 was last year? Yeah, it was last year. I think spring? I think it was spring. Yeah, it was spring. It was spring, while Attack on Titan was spring and fall, stupid schedules. And I think the fact that they both wrapped in the same year, both preaching anti-war, and around the same time, you really see just how complex the idea of war is and how it affects everyone. The soldiers, the fighters, the civilians, the victims, the slaves, the everything. I know, this is an interesting thing to note. Vinland Saga being about pacifism makes sense, because apparently the manga is a hardcore pacifist. There's an interview from the manga of Vinland Saga where he was talking about the story and how it's very much his views are very much Alvin's views of war. Was like, if he had to go to war, he would never pick up a weapon and engage in it because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. It's interesting. It's like true pacifism is really hard to come by. You'll see a lot of true pacifists out there. You're playing on the tail. True pacifists run! I will play on the tail. Don't at me. Well, tell me in the comments. I know how the pacifist runs, and I'm not jumping on the tail. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about Vinland Saga because I don't want to give once I Attack on Titan, I don't want to give spoilers because Vinland Saga is a very good anime to watch. It's Vikings, Northmen going out Viking, pillaging villages, ravaging, they're taking women hostage. But there's a great story underneath that was going much to basically the spoilers of basically everything that happens, particularly the Thorfinn, the minute details. I don't want to spoil that because the story is that good. So watch it for yourself. It is on it's on 3 services. It is on Crunchyroll. It is on Netflix. And the first season on High Dive. That's how I watched it. And I know for a fact there are 2 dubs to Vinland Saga because of Netflix. There is the Netflix dub and the Crunchyroll dub are different. With I think the Crunchyroll dub is the High Dive dub because of I think studio right. I think Netflix uses a different studio to record, and so because of probably union rights, so something they have access to different actors than what Crunchyroll and High Dive do, so they all have 2 very different dubs. I know that because basically every single character basically has 2 different English voices, and They're both really good. It's like, I might watch it on Crunchyroll, because I think I watched season 2 dubbed on Netflix, but I'll probably watch the English dub with that just to see, because there's a bunch of different voice actors who give different takes, and I don't know who's the other two, I think one Sullivan is Alex Lee, but I think is it Netflix? I think it's Netflix. I don't know his other English voice. I know. I think Josh Grell is Canute in the Highlight dub, and I think in Netflix it's Griffin Bones. It's like, and similar with like two wildly different performances. So I don't know if you're curious. And then of course there's the original Japanese dub, which is also great. Well, I'm pretty sure I think Chris Ellis a boss in one of the dubs. I don't know which one. I know Cook Thorne's in one of the dubs. I don't know. There's some good dub casts in the Vinland Saga. I will say that. Everyone always, basically hopes on dubs, because everyone's like, oh, if you want the anime, you have to watch it in Japanese. But it's like, I have mad respect for English dubs. Just because that's how I, discovered anime. So I'm not gonna be dismissive if an anime has a dub. If it doesn't, I don't care. But if the dub's available, it's like, show. Particularly if the show's not good. Because like my whole thing with anime dubs is like, oh, it's in English, I get zone out. There happens a few shows that aren't particularly good, but I watch anyway because it's like, okay, this is like, not good, but it's like, it's got anime, but I can zone out. Check my phone. Occasionally glance up. It's like, okay, that happened. Back to my phone. That has to do with Vinland Saga, I'm just telling you. No, that'll probably come back. I'll probably bring that up later. But yeah, Vinland Saga. It's a good show. Again, it is one of those anime that just, so it's like one of the best animes, in recent years. It's like I mean, if Attack on Titan is a classic, Vinland Saga probably will too. I don't know what's coming up with Vinland Saga because we have no news about future anime adapting the Vinland Saga. Fingers crossed that Mappa gets their shit together and they announce that. But knowing how things are at Mappa right now, I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, I'll probably leave it at that. That's because I don't have much else to say about Vinland Saga. I think I've gushed about it enough. I've talked about everything I've wanted to talk about Vinland Saga. I knew I wasn't going to go into spoilers because there's not much, and I also don't know where the story's going to end because I've already know where the anime is, and I haven't read the manga yet, so I have no idea where the story's going. So I can't talk much about where the story's going to go, what's going to happen. All I can talk about is what we've seen, and what we've seen is really freaking good. So if you want a really, really good anime, Vinland Saga is definitely, for you. Thanks for listening to me rant for another couple minutes, for way too long about a show that probably doesn't deserve at least 20 minutes of me rambling, but whatever. That's what the podcast's for. I'm gonna use this time to basically say there is now a comment feature on the video. So if you want to interact with me, leave a comment down below. Tell me anything you want to say. About this episode, other episodes, future episodes, whatever. If you want to engage, go ahead, leave a comment. I can see the comments myself. So be nice. Or be dicks. Hey, if you ruin the comment, I can block you. Maybe. I don't know. I'll learn that. That's the joy of studying this when you're so old. It's like, I'm not young. All the usuals. keep in mind, my socials are in the description. Are going to be in the description. Follow me on any and all socials if you want to. Like and follow this podcast. Share it with your friends so that we can help grow the community. If it gets bigger, the algorithm recommends it to more people, and I get more audience. That's always a plus. Remember, no gatekeeping. We don't gatekeep the community. If you like something, you're considered a fan of it. Don't let people tell you otherwise. And remember, when people ask, what fangirl do you listen to? It is That Canadian Fangirl. With Canadian Fangirl? That Canadian Fangirl. Alright. Later, peoples.